some point you will have to start prioritizing these to make sure that you can start somewhere and get some successes. But before we do that, how much of that would it make sense to you to cover in terms of precise ways of doing it?
I think we covered the most important ones. It would be professional email and presentations. And here I just wrote presentations.
Yes.
And you understood written. When I wrote it, I thought spoken presentation. But this can be both.
Yes.
And if I have the contact to the teacher,
yeah.
So we could do it practically. When I know I have to make a speech in English, we can use it.
Yeah.
We have the telephone, and we have, most important, this calm down and general language.
Yeah.
And I think the serious films and TED Talks, I think I won't get a huge result out of it, because my idea is to start with just to use it for relaxing.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe about the TED Talks, I could start sometimes to work with vocabulary, use TED Talks with subtitles, or find out what this is. Yeah. To be honest, usually I'm quite tired when after work, so I think it should be, not fun, but enjoy based. So the other things that work, of course it depends a bit on how busy I am. I think I shouldn't start all these things, some of these things, before in 3 weeks, because I will not have the time, and I would prefer to wait until I have the time.
Yeah. Yes.
So, and then we have the meeting in English, writing specific chunks for emailing, and the telephone. This is what covers my everyday work.
Yeah.
I think I can start all these 3 things in
At
the middle of
the same time.
September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
And to be honest, it wouldn't threaten my learning process if I have to admit after 2 weeks, okay, the meeting's in English. This doesn't really work. And I think the English teachers, for the email example, of course I need her already for the chunks for emailing.
Yeah.
I think I will also ask her in the middle of September. But starting with, if she agrees, we can do it in this way, sending her some pieces. Of course I have to collect some and say, okay, look, could you use an hour spending on this?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
This is... Oh. No.
What are you thinking?
I'm not in Denmark in the middle of September. I'm gonna
change that.
And this is in German, this week's class.
Okay.
And so we say the 25th.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be good, because before I leave the 13th or what, I will be too busy to think about this.
Yeah.
There's no meaning in it.
Yeah.
But when we are in the end of September, I should have time for this too. But maybe I should start with this.
Yeah.
And in the middle of October, after the autumn holidays, I could start this. Usually November, December is not that rough here. So it could be a good thing.
Yeah. you want to consider what might get in the way, just a quick sort of reality check. You have had some experience with setting goals and being very busy. So what are the things you might predict that you need to take care of before this will succeed?
A mixture between laziness and workload. And of course things, for example, the meetings in English are much more effective when we have the meetings in English. And when we are very pressed. So I think we will focus on content. Same with the telephone calls. It's easy to say I have to schedule them, but when everything is chaos. So it's
would you prioritize this above something you're already doing that would have to either be taken out of your schedule or reduced in size?
This takes me some more time. I will have to find out. I just can say I can put this out and I think before this I have to write a list. Not a list, I have to write down how I can secure this.
Yes.
I can't do it now.
No.
Yeah, I have a good idea. This is not from the 25th of September, it's from the 25th until week 42. This is just, I think it must be about 3 weeks. And for 3 weeks, I can say, in these 3 weeks, I have to plan a new project. So I think I will have a lot of telephone calls in English. And probably I will have a lot of emailing in English. So in these 3 weeks, I think I can press me and say, okay, now it is important. This telephone call might take half an hour, but I will schedule an hour. And hopefully I will find out that the result from the telephone call is the output is much higher, so I will continue. This makes sense.
So a chunk of 3 weeks is easier it's easy to push yourself during those 3 weeks. And I suppose that's actually, we're moving into the action plan. So here we're talking about the SMART goals. Just be specific enough, so you are breaking it down into specificity. And measurable, we need to look at in a second. Realistic is what you're just working on, and by when, and that's where your plan here works well. However, measurability is probably one that you have to look at as well. So when will you know? What does it look like when you have reached?
Hopefully, I will have a collection of chunks. This is quite measurable. And in this period, in these 3 weeks, all telephone calls in English that are scheduled, and these are of course only the important ones that take time. They have to be this way. Meetings in English, it's a bit more fluffy, so I'm afraid it could happen that this would not happen. And I will have at least 2 meetings to try out. If we feel absolutely ridiculous or if it will work.
Good. So to be assessed.
And here, from week 43, maybe I could start with this
Mhm.
and then find out what happens
Yes.
before this,
Yeah.
because the idea was maybe to have a meeting with this teacher the second week
Uh-huh.
or so, and
Yeah.
so to force me to deliver something to her so
Mhm.
she can prepare it and then we can
Yeah.
meet and talk about it. But I think we keep this until that this is in 2 months. So
Yeah. Yeah. So measurability, you're talking about phone calls, preparation, phone call, and follow-up for yourself. How will those phone calls add up? You're talking about wanting to be able to express yourself in a professional manner. Now, let's say you have learned some phrases or a word or 2 or 3 in a conversation. How will they link up to become something that you retain, something you can access again?
I will have no, this is another color.
Not a colour.
Post-it.
Oh.
This. In a way, I hate this, but I think it will help me also to see the result. I will have a list of phrases. I don't know if I use the right word. Idioms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Vocabulary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will not have a list. I will make a poster
Mm-hmm.
of all these. And this poster will be just there before my head in my office.
Yeah.
And in front of my head in my office. So the next time I will talk about the same topic or write about the same topic, I can find some words. And I can put more words there.
Yeah. And is it with post-its or the poster going to write?
Usually it would be more or less in this way. I like to have some geometric figures and put things in it and connect them.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. So a poster is perhaps also
And
your measurability?
This poster is ready when this period is over.
Uh-huh. Yes.
And I don't want to put a number of words in the measurability.
No. Yeah.
I think if I find out that the poster helps me, I will continue.
Yes. So
Hopefully.
you assess. That'd be good to write in the plan as well. That once you have measured, you assess to see if you're going to continue the same. I suppose it makes sense from the method.
Because maybe it's a bit too idealistic, but the idea, of course, is when I feel more comfortable, more safe when preparing meetings and telephone meetings.
Yeah.
My idea is, so of course I will continue because this helps me.
Yeah.
But of course I have to start.
Yes, and you might have some phases of doing that before it becomes natural. Do you have more here, or should we get straight to the writing of the action plan that you can then have ready for next time? So here's a...
We can write it in a way. I think we have an action plan here.
Yeah, would you like to have it in this format? We have a variety of formats and it's up to you. It's what makes most sense. There are some points to cover there. We could also just take a photo of that and say,
Yeah,
you know
because
what you're
in
doing.
a way, maybe I have to read your
Have a look and see if any
idea
of
of
that is
action plan, because in a way, to me, this is quite a clear action plan. This is not very fixed, because if this drops out, I can survive.
fine.
But
Yes.
I will do so.
Yeah.
Here we have these are the actions I will undertake. I have a very clear deadline, and maybe the only way that is a bit fluffy still is the assessment.
Yeah.
In a way, it's such a this effort will give a result, and when I see the result, so this is assessment, not
Yes.
thinking, which could be too fluffy. But I don't think so. What I think is more important is how I can avoid to be so busy that I don't do it.
Yeah. So that's the
I
main
think
obstacle.
this is the main one.
Yeah.
How I can make my own law. I'm not allowed to not to do it. And that means actions, activity, how to secure this. I have to have a very clear plan. This has to be a task list of other job-related tasks. And I think it could be important to discuss it with my boss, because usually I'm quite free in doing. If I just do my job, I can do it in the way I think. But to make it more, what is it? Lickable. To make it more. To make
more
this.
likely.
Yeah, more likely.
Yeah.
To this should. This is just a part of my work.
Yeah.
And that means, in my feelings, this is as important as phoning a customer.
So you prioritize it highly.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And discuss with my boss will probably just be, I tell her, and she will look at me and say, okay, yeah, just do. Why do you tell me? But so she knows it.
Yes.
And in a way, it's a bit
proud
poor
of.
that I need this, but I think I need it.
Yes.
That it is accepted.
Yeah. That's a work task. Yeah. Well, you've got your plan. You've got your phases. So if we could organise a time to meet, and you can assess all of this with me, we can do a debrief. When would that make sense? Is that after one of your phases there?
Yeah, it should be, hopefully I'm on holiday in week 42, but it should be after this.
After week 42.
Yeah, because it's only 3 weeks. But because otherwise it would have more a character of police.
Yeah.
So I know, okay, I have a meeting with Gro in 10 days, so I need to do this. But maybe we could combine these things. I think it's a waste of time to have a meeting just to get me to do it. But maybe we could have some. If you are comfortable with this, maybe we could have a date where I have to give you just a short feedback. Done.
Yes.
Done.
Absolutely.
Not done. Do it next week.
Yeah.
Not more.
No.
And then we can have a meeting in week 43 where we can have a follow-up.
Yes.
On how did things work and where I hopefully can show you my marvelous poster. And things like that.
I look forward to that. And when would you like to send me the feedback? Will that be weekly or just once? Or?
This is quite a short period, maybe once in the middle.
Yeah.
It could be the 5th of October. Yeah. So we'll have 10 days back before I leave.
Yes. Summary 5th of the 10th. And then we organise a meeting for week 43. Yeah. That sounds great. Look forward to seeing your progress.
Thank you.